Welcome to Energetics with Kim and Veronica, where we invite you to nourish the energy of your inner why, your inner healing, magic, prosperity, your curiosity, clarity, playfulness. Welcome home. Hello, everyone. This is the Energetics podcast, and I'm Veronica here, joined by my lovely partner, Kim Coleman. Hi, Kim.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Miss Veronica. And welcome. If anybody is new to our channel, oh my God, thank you. We love you. Truly, we do. And thank you for being here. And anyone who's been here and is back, oh my God, you must like us or you wouldn't be back. I don't know. Maybe you're giving us.
Cool. Yeah, pull up a chair. Come sit with us. We see this as like a community conversation. We're not speaking at you, we're speaking with you.
Absolutely. And you know what? On that note, you know what just popped into my head? You know, if anyone has like something that they would like us to chit chat about and hash back and forth and bring some awareness around, oh my God, if you want us to play with something, send it. Because when Veronica and I when a topic shows up for Veronica and I, we let it take on a life of its own. It really does. And so there's an energetic component to it. There's an energetic component to it. And so please bring on any of your questions, any of your asks, anything like that. And we'd love to play with it.
That's a great idea. I think that'd be super fun. Share with us any topics and we can riff. Between Kim and I, we have a gazillion decades in conversations in this industry. And so, but even with the gazillion decades that we have between us, we're still on the same journey as everyone, right? And we're still seeing things with fresh eyes and revisiting concepts or tools or modalities freshly and playing with it and trying it on. And so it's not I've arrived here and now I'm done. It's like we're here with everyone who's interested in this conversation and this topic. And so we see it as really a joint. We're walking on the path together.
Absolutely. And you know, that thing about truth, you know, this is a reminder for all of us. What's true for you today, if you put it in a box and make that the truth, that's the truth, then you've just created another box and another jail, right? So, but what if I can be like, okay, this is what's true for me today. And then I'm open to even more awareness around that thing tomorrow and the next day. So yeah, it might be true for me today, right? I mean, hey, when I was a kid, there was probably all kinds of food I hated. That was what was true for me then, right? And so as I continue to grow and expand and you try it on again, what was true today might not be true tomorrow. So it can go the other way around, right? And it can get bigger tomorrow. It can be totally, I thought that was the thing. Wow, it ended up to be a seed. And because I didn't put it in a box, that seed turned into something totally different. Just like this conversation right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's so true. We're going to talk about this, but you just see where it goes. And I think and it's very appropriate with our topic for today, because it's really about full acceptance of we really see life as evolution. We are evolving every minute, every second, and that means that we grow and we change and we evolve, and we, Kim and I are both very passionate about this dance with life, right? This really, life is a partner. It's presenting to us what we're ready to receive and to unravel in every moment and every day. And so that can look like uncomfortable things, and that can look like beautiful, magical things. But it's all here for us and to serve us. And so that really leads us into the topic today, which is cancel culture. And we touched on it in the last episode because we were talking a lot about, the political and economical environment and all the, the challenging things that are in our lives right now in that way, and how, we're really suggesting that you consider, if you haven't, consider, really looking at the possibility here and not just looking at the doom and gloom and the frustration and the angst and whatnot. And, also when we have folks that get into really deep into aligning with a certain perspective or viewpoint, often we see, especially in social media, that there's this canceling, right? I align with this viewpoint, and so I am canceling out everyone else that has a different viewpoint. And we're really kind of putting it on the table that, as a consideration, that what if we allow everyone to have their own viewpoints? And just because I've decided today that this is true for me and it's in my box today, that doesn't mean that that has to be true for anybody else. What if we can have full acceptance for everyone else going on their own journey? And maybe today something is true for them, maybe tomorrow it'll change, maybe it won't. But what would it look like if we all just had complete acceptance of everyone? And Kim was sharing with me prior to this call a post that she came across, and we're seeing this more often on social media, and it was something to the effect of, if someone is not serving you in your life, no questions asked, you cut them off, you remove them, you drop them, no discussion required. If they're not adding value, they're removing value from your life, so be done with them. And we were just talking about how the two of us don't align with that at all, and for many reasons. One, we love the idea of every person being here as a soul, having a journey, and what they're experiencing could be exactly perfectly aligned for that journey, for that experience. And also, what if whatever they're presenting to us is actually perfectly serving us and what we're evolving through at this moment? So, maybe you can share with us, Kim, some thoughts that you shared on that post.
Yeah, first, I'm just in awe of how you paraphrase that. My God, woman. You paraphrase that so good. You really, really did. That was so good. And yeah, so for me, it's remembering that life is happening for us and with us. It's not happening to us. So if I've got people in my reality who are not in alignment with who I be, I'm not going to kick them to the curb. That's creating separation. There's no oneness there. There's no universal love there. There's no unity there. However, I can look at that, whatever that is, and go, okay, so Veronica, your words are usually what's here for me. My words might be, what is this triggering within me? Right? Is this triggering something? Yes, no, right? If this is really annoying me, then it's a trigger. It's triggering something. So then I get to look at that or not. It's up to me if I feel like working on that trigger or not. Life is like that. We don't have to work on our triggers. We don't. And so, but what if I was to look and go, okay, if it's true that life is happening for me, then how does that apply here? Well, for me, it's like, okay, well, this person, if life is happening for me, this person is triggering something within me that gives me the opportunity to clear something, one of my own beliefs that I might be stuck on, something. It gives me that opportunity. So the trigger, if you will, that person, if you will, becomes a usable energy, right? And so I can cut myself off from it if I want to. Sure, I can cut myself off or I can use it. I can use it and work with it and see what's there for me in that context. And yeah, maybe I want to hang on to that. And there's no wrongness in that. And maybe I don't. Maybe I'm like, okay, blah, blah, blah. Right? Now, listen, if somebody's sending me, and I'm going to say it, if somebody's sending me, things that are, if somebody's sending me, should I say it? Dick pics. Then yeah, I'm probably going to block them or whatever. Right. Uh, that might be different than, somebody that I've had respect for and had a relationship. Because this has happened with me. Honest to God, I know it's happened with probably a lot of our listeners where where I can have one lady, we're doing something together. We absolutely have so much respect and so much love for each other, literally verbalizing that, right? And then all of a sudden the next day I'm ghosted. And I am that person who will reach out and go, hey, now I'm talking to somebody that was a friend of mine for a few years. And every time we get together, we're like, oh my God, I love you so much, la, 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 la. And then boom, the next day I'm ghosted, right? And so I am that person that I want to have the conversation, the heart to heart conversation, right? Did I do so? I reach out and I'm like, hey, did I do something? Did I say something? Because, that's what we'll tend to do is must have done something wrong, right? Did I do something? Did I say something? And so what happens is there ends to be no closure on my end. Do you see what I mean? So they might have closure because they're done, right? For me to have closure, what happened? So if you can imagine, like, just imagine two people and they're really, really, they love each other. Well, there is that energetic entanglement that happens, right? It just does. And in many cases, an actual cord from one to the other. Well, if one person cuts off the cord and doesn't give the other person closure, it's like that cord is flopping around, wondering what happened, right? And it becomes this disconnect, but not in a kind way. And I give a poop about people. I do. And so that cord gets dangled around and it creates all kinds of what did I do? Did I do something wrong? What's happening? And it takes a mature person, I don't know, to have those conversations. But yeah, those posts of people doing this cancel culture and just ghosting people, it's like breaking up with people over the internet. Come on, what are we in grade primary? Right. And maybe we are. I don't know. That's not a judgment. I'm just saying if that's where somebody really, really is, I'm just suggesting another possibility, right? If we're
Yeah.
looking at, that to me, that creates more divide, creates separation. Perhaps there was a misunderstanding, something that got missed. And in the conversation, perhaps you could laugh about it. Oh my God, I thought you said this. Oh my God, no, I meant that. Okay, it was a misunderstanding. And then we're back to peace and ease and love. But when you just do that cancel thing, that cancel culture, it's almost like it comes, is it a place of righteousness? I don't know. I don't know what that is. But yeah, I'm seeing it. And I don't even know where the terminology cancel culture came from. Do you? It's kind of a cool word, and it doesn't even really need any explanation, does it?
It doesn't. No, it's true. Yeah, and of course, caveats here, like Kim said, if there's some person sending you pictures of their genitals and you don't know them, of course, there's no
Yeah.
need to engage in that. And at the same time, if you're in a very toxic or abusive relationship, then of course, you have to make the decisions that are to protect yourself and do what's best for you. This is really more around when people have difference of opinions, or there's that discomfort that comes up in a relationship where anytime you have a close relationship, there's the blissful moments and then there's the tough moments. And this is about when we're running away from the tough moments because we just only want the good things, when in fact the tough moments can be really, really what end up defining us. When I look at the past 20 years of my life and I think about some of the things that I've navigated at work, as an example, I've talked about how I've stepped into leading teams that were very toxic and very challenging for me to lead. And those have been, when I think about it, those are some of my most treasured times because they really cultivated my leadership and they really challenged me. They were catalysts for me to really go deep and really find myself as a leader and help energetically learn the energetics of how to navigate those situations. So it wasn't about, okay, I'm just going to fire everybody. Sometimes termination is the right right path, but a lot of the times it's about like, it's really defined me and helped me cultivate the skills that I have. And even in my personal relationships, I think about tough times that I've gone through in my marriage where it's like I didn't just walk out the door. I leaned in. I looked at how I could really go deeper in the vision that I had for my marriage, or really cultivate something different instead of just saying, oh well, I don't like your behavior, I don't like your choices, so I'm going to cut you out, right? I think that there's a lot of there are gifts that come from those tough times in relationships, but again, it requires discernment, because it's not, sometimes the relationship truly isn't beneficial for you.
Right. I love that. I love how you brought in that piece. I remember when you were leading those teams, and then it was, I don't know, correct me here. It was almost as if you became known for being able to take teams that were almost spitting on each other and tripping each other going down the hallway. That's my exaggeration, just for effect. But yeah, it was almost like next thing you know, you would have this team. They would be the top team in the company, and then they would send you to another team that were throwing
Exactly.
chairs at
They're
each
like, okay,
other.
we'll try
Right?
this one. Can you fix this one?
I remember that. I remember that. And so what would you say? What would you say? Not the biggest takeaway, because your takeaway you've already shared on that was, how you really learned how to work. I don't know. I'm not even sure what I'm saying here. Say more about that.
Well, and in that context specifically, I really cultivated my skills of the energetics of things. Right. Of course, there were practical, strategic things that I did as well, but I really looked at the energetics of what was playing out for me personally. It's always like for me and for them,
Yes.
right? It's not, it's like, if this is here for me, then what do I, what can I lean into, what can I pull out and examine, what can I change? And so I was looking at it from both perspectives, like, okay, how can I change how I'm looking at the team? Like, all of a sudden we go into judgment. I've now put them in this bucket of being toxic. Well, what if I instead
Right.
shifted my attention to the vision of what I'd like to create here? That's one of the hardest things to do, but it is so profound. If you can really,
Oh,
really shift to the vision instead of the judgment, it's like, it's life changing.
and that's one of the things that when we're coaching people, the two of us and one person, that's something that we typically really focus on for people. Because, yeah, so our point of view creates our reality. So if I keep seeing, and that is true. And that, like you said, that can be part of the fun and part of the, oh my God, I'm seeing all these people as toxic. Okay, so then of course you're going to get more of that. Yeah, I remember, I forget one of the teams that you were playing with. I remember, next thing you knew, some of them were leaving on their own and new people were coming in. So the whole thing, as you shifted how you were being with it all and how you were seeing with it all, not only did you know what changes would contribute to everybody, the universe had your back. And next thing you know, this person was leaving or that person was moving to another department. And yeah, it was, I would have liked to have been the fly on the wall through all that and witness that. But I got to witness it by watching you grow and share. And I got to tell you, Veronica, those were, oh my God, moments, because you are way up there in the corporate world and you have taken this into the corporate world. And
Big
that's the
time.
thing. Like, there's, I remember I used to go to retreats and stuff. And on Sunday, as everybody was coming together to say goodbye and give the hugs, people would be like, oh, now I have to leave and go into the real world. And I used to do this. I know people that are listening audio can't see, but I used to cross my eyebrows wondering, what do they mean? Why wouldn't you take what you just learned into your so-called normal world? And that's what we're saying here is you did that. You did it like, this is my spiritual work here, and this is my other work when I walk into my 9 to 5. You didn't do that. And that's what this whole entire series of podcasts that have named itself Energetics is all about. It's about you being aware of what's going on the inside that's creating what's going on out there. And you modeled that so good in the corporate world. My God, woman, you went from, whatever level you were at, I don't even know what to name that, to being a manager of managers and managers and
Mm-hmm.
flying around and doing all the, doing all the things.
All the things, yeah. And in the context of cancel culture, I've never ever canceled out the corporate world, right? So you see a lot of folks in the
Right.
spiritual movement that are like, ooh, like once we start to awaken, once we start to become more aware, more conscious, more, and we go deeper into the spirituality or the human potential, etc. You can see, oh, like, I hate corporate, I need to get out of corporate, I need to get out, right? And I never did that. That doesn't mean I won't leave one day. I probably will, but I loved it for everything it gave me. And I really, really, sometimes it was tough, but I really looked for the love I could bring into the corporate, and all the appreciation I could have for what it does give to us. And of course, it's right for evolution, like everything, right? But I
Yep.
didn't cancel it out, just
Yeah.
because it didn't seem aligned to the energetic conversation.
As you're saying that, I'm like, oh my God, that is the new earth. Right? So more and more people being it in the world. We hear be the change you want to see in the world, right? Well, why, and you're right, a lot of people will get their wake up or whatever you want to call that. And they'll leave the corporate world. You didn't. And so what if more and more people brought their spirituality or their consciousness? I'm not a big fan of the word spirituality, but it's one that most people use so they understand. And so, what if we brought that into the corporate world? Now, you're not sitting in a corner doing your ohms, right? That's not what we mean. You're just being 100% aware and doing self responsibility of who you show up as and who you be, so that you can see with those eyes, the eyes of the divine, the eyes of consciousness, the eye of the heart, whatever you want to call that, right? And so, yeah, you model that beautifully, Veronica. I just want to honor you and thank you for being that in the world. Because as you be that in the world, oh my God, what an awesome thing for corporate to actually, the corporate world, right? We know the corporate world is looking for change, and people like you showing up, being that in corporate is the change,
For
right? It
sure. And
is the
it's not, and
change.
I'm not preaching it, right? Like, nobody knows that this is
No, no,
right.
exactly.
It's all about how I lead myself in the corporate. So yeah, something for folks to consider, right? Like, where are you canceling out your job or your work or your relationship or whatever it might be, and where instead could you, of course, make the right decisions to protect yourself and to do what's right for you, but in that medium zone where it's not extreme, where are you just canceling out instead of embracing, instead of loving, instead of looking at the vision
Mhm.
and the evolution and growth.
And being willing to have a conversation, right? If it's possible, but you wouldn't want to have that conversation when you're in the trigger moment, right? You wait, you do your work around the trigger, right? That's how it is for me. I like to do my work around the trigger, and it doesn't mean the other party's going to be interested or open to a conversation either. I just do me, right? I just do me. I'm not responsible for how someone else shows up and if they don't want a conversation. Like I was sharing about that other woman, she never got back to me. I was like, hey, did I say something? Did I do something? Like, what's going on here? We were just telling each other how much we loved each other. And now, nope, ghosted. And that's been about 5 years now. Now, hopefully, there'll be a day when she is whatever and we have a different relationship. I have no idea. Right. But yeah, it didn't give me any closure. which is not a kindness to the other person. If it's somebody that you had a relationship or whatever with at some time, yeah, it's not a kindness to just cut them off and not say a word and leave that cord dangling on their end. That's not a kindness, and it's not a good energy. It is not a good energy for the person who's doing the cutting off or the person who's being cut off. You're not playing in a good energy there. You're just not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the analogy of the dangling cord, right? I see this like live hose flopping around and
Yeah,
wire.
exactly. And that's what it felt like on my end. Like it really did. And so then I even made the phone call, right? I even called her. It was like, hey, really excited to see you again. Let's have lunch, all the things. Nothing. Ghost. Crickets, right? I sent her I've done the email. I've done all of it. And my cord was left flapping around, looking around like, what happened? What just happened? So it was looking for something. There was no closure for it. And it's not a kindness to anybody. It just isn't. So I've been on that end where somebody has kicked me to the curb. We were just telling each other how much we loved each other. Two women who really, really were on the same vibe and, the same ex-hippie type of thing and all the things, right? But anyway, yeah. So I hope this has been useful
Yes,
for
I hope so
people.
too. Yeah. It's a really, really relevant and timely conversation. So thank you, Kim, for bringing it up. And thank you, everyone, for
Uh-huh.
your contribution.
And it's not, and we're not saying this is how to do it at all. We're just doing the things that make you go, right? Perhaps this
Exactly.
conversation, if you are somebody who's been cutting people off, there's no wrongness in that, right? And it doesn't mean you can't reach out at another time, and maybe you never will. But hopefully, this conversation is just one of those moments where things that make you go,
A pondering, a consideration, a contemplation.
Yeah, a
And
possibility.
if you think that this could benefit anyone, this conversation, we super appreciate your sharing. That really helps us a ton. Any likes, subscribes, comments you're willing to do on any of our channels, platforms, we really, really invite it and appreciate it. And Kim, where can folks find you?
You can find me at Kim at Growing Beyond is my email. Growing Beyond is my website. Kim Coleman is my Facebook. And Instagram is kimcoleman.growingbeyond. And any
Amazing.
of those have a link tree where you can see it all.
Yeah. And we also have an Energetics
What about
podcast
you?
Instagram handle. So would love to see you
Right.
there. And I'm also on Instagram
We're
at the Veronica Rose, ROZE.
lovely.
So come and find us. We would love to talk to you. Thank you so much.
And
And as Kim
share.
said, if you have any topics you'd like us to riff on, send them over. We will include it.
We'll riff.
Yep, we'll riff. Until next time, so much love. Bye for now.
Awesome.